Hello, cheapskaters. How are you all? Let me just, sorry guys, there we go. I'm a bit bleary-eyed tonight. I don't know whether you can see or not. I've had an allergic reaction to a new moisturizer. So that'll learn me to not wait and get the old brand that I use all the time, won't it? Well, we had 25 people waiting when I checked a minute ago. That's really exciting, all waiting. So I hope you are all very, very well. We'll give a couple of minutes chit chat, let people catch up, and then we can get started because I'm pretty sure this is a topic that's dear to all our hearts. I know it's something that I am particularly fond of. Yeah, so I ran out of moisturizer a couple of weeks ago, so I've been shaking the jar and I finally cut the bottom off it and scraping it out till it was as empty as it could be, and I haven't been able to get it. So in desperation, I bought another one after I read the ingredients and made sure there was nothing that I know I react to in it. And anyway, I only took one smear and I was burning up and, oh, you can't see, I'm all itchy and everything. It's terrible. But anyway, that was my excitement for the weekend. That was about the most exciting thing that happened on the weekend, I think. Otherwise, yes, Barb, my garden is, I'm getting ready to transplant out the spring seedlings that I've grown that I wanted to baby. They're going into the garden. Hopefully tomorrow should be a nice day, so I'll be able to get out there then and get them underway. I'll put the tunnel over them to give them a bit of a hothouse boost, and that will hopefully get us started on summer. Alrighty. Maybe 7:32. We waited long enough. Estelle's practicing lighting fire with a flint. That's really hard. It is a talent to light a fire with a flint because that spark has to catch your kindling at just the right point to get it to start to smolder. So it's a real challenge. Thanks, Barb. Kerry planted her rainbow carrots today. Yay. They sound really pretty. All right. Okay. Well, let me get the beginnings over with and then we can get started. Hello, cheapskaters. I'm Kath Armstrong, creator of the Cheapskates Club, where our goal is to live life debt-free, cashed up and laughing. If this is your first visit to our channel, welcome. We are glad you could join us. And if it's not, welcome back. I'm really glad to have you visit us again. Just a couple of things. If you have a question, put it in all capitals so it stands out for me so I can see it when I come back to them during the show. Otherwise they get lost because that chat scrolls up really quickly for me, and if I'm trying to concentrate on talking to you and read chat at the same time, I miss things. I don't want to upset anyone. To do that, you do have to be logged into your YouTube or Gmail account, and that's a YouTube requirement. It's got nothing to do with me. If you don't have either of those, do not panic. You can ask your question in the comments box below me. I read every comment. I do my best to answer all the questions in the comments too. So if you've got a question and you're not in live chat, not a problem. Put it in the comments and I will do my best to answer. I called tonight, what did I call tonight? Stockpiling Up A Storm. And I did that because I think we should be stockpiling up a storm. Now, I say that all the time. This isn't just me jumping on the panic bandwagon. I've been saying this publicly for 21 years. Everyone needs a stockpile. Everyone needs a full pantry. Everyone needs to know that if they break a leg tomorrow and can't drive to get to the store, there's food in the house. They don't have to worry about paying a delivery fee. Or if they lose their job, they've got enough food in the house that they can cope for a little while without having to worry about how to feed the family. They will be able to concentrate on finding another job or whatever. Or mortgage interest rates are going up and your mortgage repayments jumped up by hundreds of dollars a month. You need to be able to feed your family. You need to know that you can stretch what you have to last a bit longer, or you can stretch what you have and round it out with some cheaper basics to make it last longer and cut your grocery bill. It's not a new thing for me to say, build a stockpile and keep your pantry full. I've been saying it for years and years and years, and I mean it. You need to have some sort of full pantry because life throws us all sorts of panicky things like itchy red neck and puffy eyes or whatever. So we need to be prepared for that. But that costs money and it takes time. And right now, most of us don't have spare money that we can just go out and fill our pantries. So we need to be stockpiling. We need to be building those pantries. Don't stop doing it. But how are we going to do it? Because our wages haven't gone up. Cost of living's gone up, but our wages haven't gone up. So how are we going to do it? We need to be a little bit creative, a little bit sneaky perhaps, a little bit, we need to use a little bit of ingenuity and focus on building our pantries the cheapest way possible. Now, there's all sorts of schemes and programs and whatever all over the place for building your pantry. We've got the $5 a week pantry challenge going in our forum where you take $5 a week and you dedicate that $5 to buying something or some things to build your pantry. That works really, really well. For some people, they love that challenge. They get the $5, they've taken the $5 out of their grocery budget or their spending money or wherever. They've got their $5, they're going to find something they can use to build their pantry. It might be 8 tins of baked beans this week, or 4 tins of baked beans and 2 tins of crushed tomatoes, whatever. Packet of Wheat Bix. It could be a tub of Vegemite. 500 grams of butter, whatever, something that they use and that's specifically used to build their pantry. Another one is using your slush fund. And your slush fund for us is simply the money that's left over from the grocery budget. So if you've got your grocery budget, you do your groceries and there's money left over, use the leftover money to stock your pantry, to buy something extra to put into your pantry. But I was thinking about it this afternoon, and one of the other things that I thought of was, what do we put in the pantry that, we think's essential, but it's not really essential? Does that make sense? Something that we put in the shopping trolley every week or fortnight without fail because we've always bought it and we like it or we use it, but we can go without it for a little while. The thing that popped in my head was ice cream. Now, I never buy ice cream. never, never, never buy ice cream. If we have ice cream, Wayne has bought it. I know that makes me sound mean, but I always think that I have better things to do with my grocery money than buy ice cream. So he buys the ice cream. That's just what we've always done. But if you, for example, and this is just an example of what I mean, normally put ice cream in your trolley, what could you add to the pantry for the cost of that ice cream if you didn't buy it? Now, I had no idea that ice cream was so expensive either because I don't buy it. So I sort of did a quick look online, and other than the generic ones, the cheapest one I could find was $9.90 for a 4-litre tub of just Peter's vanilla. And I think that's what Wayne buys. It's in the blue tub. So rounded up to $10. What could you do with $10 to stock your pantry? If you're not buying ice cream, and if the ice cream's just an example, if you don't normally buy ice cream, choose something else that is an essential. What could you buy with that money, with that $10 or however much it is? Could you add tinned tomatoes? Could you add butter, sugar, cat or dog food or kitty litter, toilet paper? Because, you know, the world needs every household to be plastered with toilet paper. It could be shampoo or frozen veggies, wheat bix. What's on your stockpile basics list that you could use that $10 to buy, or however much it is? Could be something. Perhaps it could be that you would normally buy Nutri-Grain cereal. So instead of buying Nutri-Grain this week, everyone's going to eat rolled oats. What could you buy with a difference in the money that you're not spending on the cereal? Now, that's just an example. I pulled it out of thin air. I don't ever buy that. Oh, no, I shouldn't say I don't ever buy it, because I do. It goes in Christmas stockings. But think about what you put in your trolley that you just put in out of habit that you don't really need this week, or that is not essential. If you don't buy that, you can use that money to add to your pantry. And you're doing that without changing your grocery budget. You're not spending any extra money to add to your pantry. That's one way of doing it. Another way of doing it is by inventorying your pantry. That's hard to say in a tongue twister, but by doing a pantry inventory and seeing exactly where you are in your stockpiling journey. So if you have all the tinned tomatoes you need for however long, say 3 months, and you've got all the rice you need for 3 months, you don't need to buy those again. So you can use that money to buy something else to build your stockpile. You might put it towards flour or sugar or spices, herbs and spices, whatever you need, whatever the gaps are in your stockpile to build it. I just saw, oh horrors, no chocolate. Who said that? Beverly. Okay. Your husband will buy topping to put on the ice cream. No, we don't have topping on the ice cream. It just has ice cream. I'm not sure I follow that. No, he just buys ice cream, puts it in the freezer, and he just has plain vanilla. That's all he ever buys, but it's usually the Peters in the blue tub. I was quite shocked at the price of ice cream when I was searching Woolies and Coles online. $12 for 500 grams. I hope it comes with silver service delivered to your door. You'd want to be spoon-fed for that price. Crikey. I couldn't believe it. I don't know how people can afford to pay that much for ice cream. That's another way to build your pantry. We need to think of these things. We need to be a bit more creative if we're not already. I think probably most of us are, but there's still newbies that don't know these things. So we repeat them. Probably you older guys, you more experienced cheapskaters, might be a bit bored with this, but for new people, they're learning new ways to do it. It's really important that we share our experiences. What I found the easiest way for me in the very beginning was I had a set grocery budget, but I had a set shopping list. And I just bought the same thing every month. I bought everything on my list every month. And some months we didn't use it all, and so we had an excess. And that is how I started building my pantry way back before Hannah was born. So back almost 28 years ago, that's how I started my stockpile. I had one shopping list, and whether we needed Weet-Bix or not, I bought Weet-Bix and put them in the cupboard, whether we needed Vegemite or peanut butter, baked beans, tinned tomatoes, whatever it was on the list. I bought it and it went into the pantry, and that's how I started to build the pantry. I didn't spend any extra money. I didn't buy anything that wasn't on the list. If something was on sale, that was a bonus. I had a bit of money left over. But in those days, I shopped at Jewel, so there was no half price sales, or very rarely would something go down in price. But that's how I started building my pantry and building my stockpile. It worked. I only shopped once a month. I think I've told you this before. I only shopped once a month on a Thursday. Thursday night, Wayne would come home from work. We'd load the kids up. We'd go into town because we lived out of town. We'd go into town. I had the grocery trolley. He had the kids trolley. I had my list with my pencil, and I had it listed, everything listed, the size, the number, the quantity I needed to buy, and I had the price it was the month before, because this was also the start of my price book. The price it was the month before, and I would write in the price it was as I was putting it into the trolley, and I had a calculator to add it up because I had $200 and that was it. I didn't have $200.05. I had $200. So if it came to more than $200, something had to go back, and I had to find a cheaper version of it, or we didn't have it. That's how tight my budget was back then. There was no wriggle room, absolutely no wriggle room. But by doing that, I always knew how much the groceries were going to cost, and I always knew that we would eat for at least the month ahead, with a bit longer, because we didn't always use all the sugar or all the flour or all the custard powder or all the tomato sauce. So it built up. All right. Now, let me just check. Did I see a question? Kathleen can make chocolate. Chocolate's easy to make. Salt, we're all talking about things, are we? What's essential? Sorry, guys, I'm just going through. I thought I saw a question, but again, it flies past, and I have to scroll back. Okay. Oh, Karen was given 10 kilos of flour today. That's a good gift. That's gold. Groceries are gold, guys. Honestly, if you have food in your pantry or vegetables growing in your garden, that is as good as gold. I'm watching what's happening overseas. And honestly, there's now there's going to be a rice shortage. There's a grain shortage. There's some sort of oil shortage. I have enough oil to do us for a while, so and I don't use a lot of oil, so that was okay. All sorts of things. And I was watching these, reading these and watching these and listening to the different news bulletins about all this stuff. And I'm thinking, they're panicking because they're now going into their winter. But we've just come through all of this. We've come through. We've had rice. It's still quite in short supply. And it's expensive. Flour is very expensive. Not so much in short supply, I don't think, but very expensive. Those things we've come through. We've just come through. And I often wonder if because we're quite isolated, being the island nation that we are, the rest of the world seems to think that we don't get affected by these things. But we do. We really, really do. It does affect us. So when I see that Northern Hemisphere is panicking about this stuff, I'm thinking, we've just panicked about it. We didn't really panic. We sort of planned and prepared and rode it out. Now, what does interest me is the fact that they're talking that these shortages will not only get worse, but last at least another 5 years. And one article I read quickly this morning, was that by 2030, so that's 7 and a bit years away, by 2030, food costs will have increased by 400%. So that would mean if you're on the $300 rationing, as I was doing other stuff, I was listening to this and rationalizing it out. Does that make sense? That would mean if you're on the $300 a month food challenge, then 400%, that's $1,200 a month. I don't know that we could find 400% just like that without wages going up 400%. And we all know wages are not going to go up 400%. That's just not what's going to happen. So it was interesting to hear these things because it sort of reinforces what I believe, in that we need to be self-sufficient, we need to be self-reliant, we need to take responsibility for ourselves and think ahead and plan ahead as best we can with what we have to get ahead, if that makes sense. It's really important that we understand that we are responsible for us. I'm responsible for me. You're responsible for you. It's nice to think that we live in a society where we're all equal and we can all, we'll all get treated the same. But we know that that just isn't the case. That just isn't the case. And it's never going to be the case because we are human beings and we are all different. And while it sounds really good, to say that, we do have a very good social security system. For all its many faults, it does work to a certain extent, a lot better than a lot of the others do. But we shouldn't rely on it. We should not go, well, that's our backup plan. We should make our own backup plan, is what I'm trying to say. And we do that by building our pantry, by paying down debt, by building up savings. I just saw Estelle, I'm not sure for the last couple of years, but it was about between 75 and 80% of our fresh food is produced in Australia. Most of what we produce, though, goes overseas. So we have a lot of wheat, we grow a lot of grain, we grow a lot of sugar, we grow a lot of bananas and things, we grow a lot of vegetables and stuff. So the market garden type vegetables, the cabbages, the lettuce, the tomatoes, they generally pretty much stay here. A lot of the others actually get processed off and sent overseas, as does our milk. So we get our fresh milk. Most of our fresh milk is Australian. Some of it's not. But a lot of our shelf-stable milk, so the UHT, the powdered milk, tinned milks, the evaporated, the condensed, that sort of thing, the baby formulas, all get shipped overseas. It's another reason why we pay quite a lot for those things in our country. I know I've mentioned it before. You want to check when you buy your fruit and veg from the supermarket, check where it comes from. Lemons from California, blueberries from the UK. Makes no sense. Makes absolutely no sense. You know, lemons grow really well. Citrus grows really well in Australia. We should not be importing those things. When Alan, number one son, was a baby, I rebelled. I know you find that hard to believe. I rebelled, and there was a particular baby food manufacturing plant not far from us, and they were producing baby food to sell to Australians, and they were importing the fruit to go in the fruit baby foods from Chile, only because nobody else would take that fruit, because it had been sprayed and it had been grown with a fertilizer that's banned just about around the world, and sprayed with a pesticide that is banned just about around the world. But this company, this multinational company, could get it into Australia and sell it to Australian families. And this particular baby food was loaded with these chemicals that babies don't need, people don't need. Those things were banned for a reason, but because it was cheap and because we didn't have, our government didn't have the restrictions on importing from that country, our babies got fed it. So I did my "Don't Poison My Baby" protest, and I was happy to do that. And I would do that again. My babies didn't get tinned food or jarred food or whatever for that reason. All right, now. Estelle, grow them. Berries are so easy to grow. So easy to grow. Strawberries grow like weeds. They will self-produce. Raspberries grow like weeds. They will just keep producing and producing. I've just planted some black currants. I cannot wait. I love black currant syrup. They just pots. Put them in pots. You don't need to put them in the ground. Put them in pots. Well worth it. Last summer, our strawberry plants, even with what we were eating, I managed to make a couple of batches of jam. I'm hoping I can get more this summer from the raspberries, especially strawberries we usually eat. I'm not a fan of strawberry jam, so I don't mind. Dehydrated strawberries are really good, really good. Or the fruit leather is really good if you do strawberry puree and dehydrate it. But we usually just eat the strawberries. I was a shocker because I would go out to hang out the washing and do a quick scout around the garden, and I'd pick the berries as I was going. So I'd have breakfast from the garden. It was great. Berries are really easy to grow. Really easy to grow. And frozen berries, check where they come from. But frozen berries aren't too bad as far as price goes. Sorry, guys. Sorry. I'm trying to keep up with the questions. Sorry. All right, new comments down here. They just go really, really quickly. Yeah, my raspberries, Kerry, my raspberries are shooting too. They look really, really good. The hydrangeas, can't eat hydrangeas, unfortunately, but boy, they're pretty. But gee, they're shooting really well too for this time of year. I'm really excited about those. Hope we get good flowers. I don't have blueberries. We're not keen on blueberries, so I don't plant them. Okay, there is no such thing as no maintenance garden. There's just not. Especially if it's food, you are going to have to pay some attention to it every day, and it's much easier to do it every day, even if it's just 10 minutes in the morning and 10 minutes in the afternoon. And if you've got to set your alarm to get up 10 minutes earlier to do it, because you can walk outside, you can see what needs weeding and pull those weeds straight away. You can water, you can harvest, give it a feed of worm tea or compost tea or whatever, but do something every day. It's not so hard in summer. In winter it's hard because it's cold and dark, but in summer it's daylight at 4:30. So I'm often out in the garden at 4:30, 4:45 in the morning in summer when it's cooler, and you can still see perfectly well to pull any weeds that are there, to make sure that everything's watered or mulched or whatever. But there's no such thing as a no work garden. My peas are growing. When are they ready to pick? It depends what sort of peas they are. Are they green peas, or are they snow peas, or sugar snaps? Sugar snaps and snow peas, when they're about 5-7 centimeters long, they should be fine to pick. If they are green peas, like round peas, shelling peas, then you will be able to see, because the pods will be nice and fat, and you'll see the little kaplomps for each pea in the pod, and you'll know that it's time to pick it. Shell peas, yep. Okay, so the shell peas, look at them. They'll be, I don't know, as long as they get, but they'll be nice and plump, and you'll actually see the little roundy bits for the peas in the pod, and that's when they're ready to pick. Or just open one and taste the peas. I used to have to fight the kids for that. They'd go out to bring in the peas and eat more than they would bring in for dinner. Now, where did that go? There we go. Okay. Janine can't grow strawberries. They need a lot of water. Strawberries need a lot of water, and slaters will get to them. Hello, Joy. All right. Now. Yes, Selena, when they plump up, they will be ready to harvest, and then you've got to sit and shell them and blanch them or whatever for freezing. I was going to say, But if you're not sure, just open one and see. You'll be able to tell by the size of the actual peat in it. We have possums too, Michelle. And I think I told you a few weeks ago, I got a solar light from the Reject Shop. It's working really, really well. I put one in each end of each bed and they light up at night and then they just shine on the garden. They look really well. Poor Lacey dog nearly goes insane looking at them at night time, but you know, doesn't really matter. Can lids be reused for tomato sauce as with jam? For water bathing, yes, not for pressure canning. So if you are going to pressure can it, no, you will need a new lid. For water bathing, it should be fine. It might your lids might look perfectly good. The rubber might look great. The rims might look great. There might be no mixed rims, but for safety's sake, don't reuse lids for pressure canning. Dehydrating, general pantry storage, water bathing, they are fine, but not for pressure canning. Okay. Sorry, guys. Oh no. A rabbit got in the patch, but then the fox got the rabbit. I don't know, rabbits get in there. Well, our possums they ate the cabbages, the Chinese cabbages. They got the broccoli. They had a lovely feast on a couple of the turnips. When they were getting bigger, they were coming out of the ground, coming up. So they ate the tops of them. Wretches. Take the whole thing. It's really annoying. Right, now, anyway, back to, where am I? Back to stocking up and why we need to stock up. When we buy ahead, and it just makes sense to buy ahead, we're beating inflation because we're living off today's prices for the next however long it is that we've bought ahead for. I know people query when I say I shop once a year, and they go, well, don't you miss out on a lot of the sales, and what about the half price specials? But I don't buy brands. I buy mostly generic stuff. So that never comes on sale. It never comes on half price. So the generic flour, the generic sugar, the generic oil, pasta, rice, they don't come on sale. So I don't miss out. I actually save money by not paying the increased prices because they do go up by 1 cent or so every so often during the year. How long can homemade jam last in the freezer? How long's a piece of string? If it's sealed properly, it'll be fine. It might get freezer burn though, but why is it in the freezer? Because you don't have shelf space for it. Jam is fine on the shelf. There's enough sugar in jam. It is fine on the shelf. It will last for years on the shelf, and you don't really need to do anything. You don't really need to do anything to it. Barb, no, just use the one that's there and start a new topic. That's fine. That will be fine for the rest of the year. No problem. Selena, I wish they had generic gluten-free. Oh gosh, slow down, Kat. Gluten-free flours. Yeah, I've not checked the prices because I don't use them. I did buy, my sister-in-law was coming, and I did buy a gluten-free brownie mix, and I nearly choked at the price of that. But I figured by the time I bought the flour, it was going to cost me about the same anyway, and I still needed to add the cocoa and the butter. So, yeah, buy ahead. Buy ahead. Much like we have children and so we buy next year's clothes at this year's sales, do the same with your pantry. Do the same with your groceries, your cleaning supplies, your toiletries. Buy ahead and you will beat inflation. Now, I'm not saying that there's going to come a time where you won't have to pay prices, because that will only last as long as it's going to last. But you have the option. And it also means you've got time to save up and make adjustments if you need to cover the price increases. Half the biscuit for double the price, yeah. Everything has gone up. I was quite shocked. I was more than quite shocked. I was absolutely stunned at the price of some things, like the ice cream, $9.90 for ice cream. It seems ridiculous to me. But it is what it is, because I guess breaking it down the food chain, everything has gone up. And so those price rises are going to come through to us as the end user, as the consumer that buys them. So we need to do what we can to hedge against the shock. We've got at least two more interest rate rises before the end of the year. That's really going to hurt. That is really going to hurt. For people with mortgages, my heart is aching, because if you've got a mortgage and a family, and then the fuel excise goes back on fuel on the 29th of September, it's really going to hurt. And already today here in Melbourne, petrol jumped up 40 cents a litre. For no reason, it just went up 40 cents a litre, because the wholesale price of oil has not changed. It just went up 40 cents a litre. Now, one very cheeky newsreader did suggest that it was because school holidays are starting, and we all know that school holidays, long weekends, holidays, petrol goes up. It was a really sudden no, and caught everyone by surprise. We all sort of thought it would go up, but 40 cents a litre. So your P is now up to about $1.95, $1.96 a litre here in Melbourne. And it is just ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. I'm not sure. We had trouble. We couldn't buy wood last year, 2021. We could not buy wood. 2020, 2021, we could not buy wood. There was none to be had, which was really just in case for us, because we collect firewood. So most of the summer when we go out, we will deliberately collect firewood. Wayne and another friend go to his son-in-law's property where they've piled up trees that were felled. We had a massive storm come through here 2 years ago, 18 months ago, 2 years ago. Huge storm, flattened just about everything. And a lot of the trees on his property fell. So they piled them up, stacked them in stacks around the place, and are gradually working their way through with firewood. So we don't buy firewood. I don't know, but I worry that our gas and our electricity are already so expensive, and I know the UK were expecting an 80% increase. I was talking to a friend who lives in the Netherlands. She got her electric bill, and it was her normal monthly electric bill is €268, which I think is a lot, but anyway. And the estimate for the next month, 1,093, almost a 400% increase. How can people do that? And that's what I'm saying. I'm really glad we're going into summer, because that's really scary. That is really, really scary. I don't know how people will be able to pay that. Now, I saw some signs from a protest in Britain, and it was, heat the house or feed my kids. What choice do I have? That's really, really, that's a hard choice, isn't it? We are blessed. We get extremes of heat in summer, but we don't have the extremes of cold that they have over there. Thank goodness, because I hate being cold. But what would you do? Their wages aren't going up that much, and on top of everything else that's going up, yeah, really scary. Now, what sorry. I lost it. There was a question just there and I just watched it. Yeah. Sorry. See, it flies by really quickly. So it's really, we're blessed. And it's another reason we need to build our pantries and think about how we're going to do it. We can do the $5 a week challenge. We can give something up, whether it's ice cream or, I don't know, tea bags or something. No, not tea bags, but something and that's only temporary, because once you've got your stockpile built up, you will be able to add that back into your shopping if you want to. You might find that you don't really need it and you don't really miss it, whatever. Or you can create a grocery list and just buy it, whether you've got 1 or 2 or 3 on the shelf or none on the shelf. That's what you buy and that's what you live off. The other thing I need to stress is we do need to use the stockpile. Don't just put it on the shelf and go, that's for emergencies, and let it sit there. Use it. Use it so that you are rotating through it. Replace what you use. If you take a tin of tomatoes and a packet of Wheat Bix, put them on the shopping list to make sure that you replace them. Replace what you use so that you always maintain that level, that basic level of stockpile, however much it is. And that's a personal choice. It is entirely up to you. It's not up to me to say you should have whatever. It's up to you. You know how you live. You know how you want to live. You know how long you think you'd need to be self-sufficient in some sort of crisis. It's personal and it's different for all of us. So I can say that, a month is pretty reasonable. And I think it is. 3 months is better. 6 months is better. 12 months is even better. But that might not work for you in your circumstances. So how big a stockpile is, how long you want to be able to live off it, is really personal. And also, is it more shelf stable or is it freezer reliant? I've been moving, as you know, I've been moving to more shelf stable things for the last 3 years, moving away from keeping things in the freezer and doing more canning, more dehydrating, and having more shelf stable foods. simply because there's a lot of money tied up in our freezers. And even though I have the inventory and we could claim it back on our insurance, I would just cry. I would cry if the power was out for a week and I lost the freezer or what's in the freezer. I would cry. I would sit on the floor and cry. I would howl like a baby. I would be able to dehydrate some and I would work like crazy to get some whatever I could canned up, but there would still be a loss. And I would cry because it's not just the money that's in it, it's the time and the effort. It's the time to do the shopping, it's the effort to bring it home and pack it and vacuum seal it and whatever. Well, Barb, here you go. I've got my trusty cup of tea here in my best Christmas present ever. I love this mug. I won't give up tea either. I think it's on sale, supposedly on sale for $6.50, the tea I like, starting tomorrow at Coles. I have plenty. I don't need tea. But for those of you, I like the Twinings Extra Strong in the red box, and I think it's on sale for $6.50. I've tried the other ones. Hannah quite likes the Queen Victoria. I can't remember what it is. It's cheaper than the Twinings. She likes that. It's not quite as strong. If I can't drink coffee, I've got to drink tea, and it needs to be strong. Oh, Selena, don't drink Coke. Please don't drink Coke. I shouldn't. I drink tea. I used to drink coffee by the gallon, so I can't. Tell anyone what to drink or what not to drink. I don't like Coke. So Wayne drinks Coke. He buys it himself. Yeah, it's really look. It's really nasty stuff. But you know what? If you like it, you like it. And there are worse vices to have than Coke or coffee or tea or, yeah, I'm not as fond. I don't like Yorkshire tea either. I've tried it, and at a pinch, it's fine, but it's not my favourite, Kathleen. So when my Twinings Extra Strong was on sale, it was $5.60. I could get it for on half price. I would buy. His teeth are terrible, Beverly. But, you know, they're his teeth, not mine. Narada's not bad. Still not strong enough, though. The trick with tea, we need to do a video on making a proper cup of tea, is it actually needs to brew. And that old thing where you put the tea in the teapot, and it was one for each person and one for the pot, and then you filled it up and you let it brew. And you actually do need to let your tea brew, regardless of whether you buy leaves, loose leaf, or bags or whatever. You need to let it brew for at least 2 minutes so it can release the antioxidants. Otherwise, you're just drinking coloured water full of tannins. We want the antioxidants from the tea. That's what I tell myself. So I put the tea bag in and I put the water in, and I'll usually empty the dishwasher or load the dishwasher or sweep the floor or something, come back, take the tea bag out, put it over, because I reuse my tea bags. I know people find that quite irky, but I reuse them. It's only me drinking it, and there's no milk added to it until after I've taken the tea bag out, so I reuse them. 2 tea bags will make 3 cups of tea for me. Nice and strong. Yeah, no, I haven't tried the Assembled. I'm sort of stuck on the Extra Strong, and I have a lot of it. I have a good stockpile of it, so it works. But I might try, if I can get a little packet. Sometimes I have the 10 packs. I'll put that into the camper and try that when we're away. We're due to go away soon. So, all right. Ooh, nice, Catherine. 2 tea plants and 2 coffee plants. Well done. All right. Well, Selena's advice is Coke and fabric. Well, in a shell grit hits the fan type situation, both would be very valuable because people will be desperate for the cola, so you can trade it, or desperate for fabric to make things, because eventually they'll need clothes or sheets or whatever, and you'll be able to barter your fabric, something like that. Does anyone here watch Prepper Princess? She's got a YouTube channel. Oh, box of 80. Well, that won't work for me. What if I don't like it? I'm stuck with tea I don't like. I'll have to give it away. Anyone watch Prepper Princess? She did a video, a YouTube video last week. Must have been towards the end of last week, and it is Prepper Princess, where she actually had to run her generators. Where she was, it was 116 degrees Fahrenheit. Power went out. Whole town was blacked out. There was no power. So she has two generators that she was using. One ended up failing on her. One worked really well. It was very interesting to see how she coped and how she survived. She has 2 dogs. One's a younger dog. The older dog really struggled with the heat, so she ended up putting the older dog in the car and turning the car on and running the air conditioning for it. That's a really expensive way to cool your pup down, but if you have no choice, I guess that's what you do. Now, she lives in the desert, so she couldn't go throw him in a river or anything, because there isn't one. So it was really interesting to see how she survived with the generators and just how well they worked, doing what she thought they'd do. I know a lot of people think they have a generator and they can just plug everything into it and live like normal. But if you only have a small one, that won't happen. A full house generator, or a generator big enough to run a full house, as in lighting and fridges, freezers, whatever, appliances, that's a really big generator. So your small generators might keep your fridge and freezer going for a while. Turn them off. You might be able to run the washing machine. They're handy to have. They're really handy to have, but don't think that they will don't think that they will run your whole house. So you all do. A terrible storm. I haven't caught up. Comment above about Prepper Princess. Okay, I don't see them. They fly through. But yeah, I don't always agree with her way of doing things, but it's interesting to see someone else's point of view. I don't have to agree with it. It is interesting to see someone else's point of view on what would you do in a crisis, or how you save money, or buying presents on a budget, or eating on a budget. That was really interesting. I was quite perturbed with one video when she said she only eats 1 meal a day, and then she dished up what she ate, and that concerned me on so many levels. Number one, I like food. Number two, the lack of nutrition in that meal was horrible. Yeah. So, oh, Barb, how to make tea. Yep, warm the teapot. I warm the teapot when I make tea in the teapot. Fill it with water, hot water, while the kettle's boiling. The water must always be boiling when it hits the tea leaves. So as soon as it comes off, straight in the teapot. Yep. Okay, right. So what we're going to do, though, is we're going to work on building our pantries. We're not going to slack off. We're not going to become complacent. I've noticed that lots of people seem to be like, oh, crisis over. Crisis isn't over. This is, what do they call it? The eye of the storm. This is like when you're in a cyclone. You've got the wind and it's howling and howling, and then everything goes dead calm. And it seems like, oh, we'll open the windows and go back outside and have a play. Uh-oh, coming back the other way. This is the eye of the storm. And it's not even a very calm eye of the storm. It's just that we've been so tossed around for 2.5 years that any little bit of something that even seems to be calm and normal, we're going to grasp like it's a life raft. So don't stop building your pantries. Don't become complacent, and don't hesitate to do what, if you get a niggle that says, I need more spaghetti, get more spaghetti. The worst thing that can happen is you don't have to buy it again for a while. It won't hurt anything to be prepared. Okay, now. Was it her that spoke about breaking off broccoli stems? Oh my goodness, I don't want to talk about that because I got in so much trouble. So much trouble. Broccoli stems are part of the broccoli. You buy it, you pay for it. It's not like you're paying for it by weight. So breaking the stem off, stems are really good anyway, but breaking the stem off is, from my point of view, that's just my point of view, I wouldn't do it because I would consider it stealing. Yeah, I think we're in the eye of the storm. We're in the calm at the moment. We're looking like we've seemed to, for some bizarre reason, we're not getting the news of the things that are concerning. And if we do get it, it's a little blip and then it's gone. We're not, we're being fed more, I don't know, more good news type stuff, more, I hesitate to call it fake news because news is news, but it's not informative news. It's more gossip news, not informative news. I'd rather have the informative news than the gossip news. I don't really care what actresses and actors are doing, and I don't really care who won awards for whatever it was he won an award for. If he won the award, well done. But you know what? I don't really care. It doesn't really affect my life. I want to know about the things that affect my life. I want to know about food prices. I want to know about food shortages. I want to know about the weather. We're expecting a wet summer. How is that going to impact us? How is it going to impact us for holidays? I want to know that. I want to know how it's going to impact us in terms of fresh produce. Where is it going to rain? Where is it going to be the heaviest rainfall? Does that mean lettuces are going to go back up to $11 or whatever it is? They're the things I want to know. I want to know why nothing's being done about the cost of fuel, why nothing seems to be being done about the cost of electricity, why, I want to know all these things. I want answers. I've got questions and I want answers. I don't want to know the gossipy stuff, the fluff. I'm not interested in the fluff. If the fluff makes you feel better, that's great. It does not make me feel better. It makes me feel very nervous, very, very nervous. I like to know so I can plan and prepare ahead. Okay, I have gone over, and I wasn't going again. Sorry, guys. So, build your pantry, don't stop. I've given you some options on how to do it. I know there are more on our website. I know there's gazillion other ways to do it out there. Do your own research. Don't take my word for it. Find your own way to do what you need to get done and just do it. Don't be scared. Be prepared. Don't be afraid. There's nothing to be afraid of if you are prepared. And preparing is as easy as doing something. And if you do something, just something, one little thing every day, you are doing something and you are moving forward. So don't stop. Just keep going. Now, I am going to go and say good night. Thank you for watching. Now remember to like, thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't already subscribed. That would be really good. Click the bell icon to choose how often you want to be notified of our videos, and share. All those things help our channel grow, and helping our channel grow means we're easy to find so that we can spread the message that it's okay to live life debt-free, cashed up and laughing, and we can do it even in the weird and wonderful world of 2022. We can be debt-free, cashed up and laughing all the way to the bank, and we can be prepared. All right, I will see you next week. Have a great week, everyone. Stay safe, keep stockpiling, keep preparing. Bye.